Oh, my Mingas, and welcome to the Minga Sports Podcast. I'm Nacho.
I'm Garuta.
What's going on? We got the last Minga of the regular season of 2021 season.
Well, technically the regular season's already over, so this is the first Minga of playoffs.
Well, it's
When
the
you
last
really think
Minga of
about it.
talking about the regular season.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
we're going over the games. Is what I mean.
Yeah, we're going over the last regular season games, but
Yeah, it's
we're not finished talking about the regular season.
okay. Um, yeah, some important news. I did the doc again because he's working.
Wow.
Yep.
Good
Um,
job,
Thank
Nacho.
you. And then college football championship we watched last night. Um, Fucking awful game.
It was the first three quarters were not good. They were, dare I say,
Dog shit.
bad. Dog shit's another good word for it.
Um,
Nothing got done in the or the first, second, or third quarters. Let's go. I think all of the points that were good were scored in the fourth quarter. All of the non-field goals, I should say. No, Georgia had a touchdown late in the third quarter,
mm-hmm.
but Georgia does beat Bama 33-18.
Let's go.
Bryce Young had two interceptions.
He did.
Uh,
Um,
but he also had 370 yards and a touchdown. But Big Dick Stenson Bennett went 17 for 26, 224 yards and two touchdowns. So he did pretty good. Um, yeah, a big part was that Alabama had no receivers left, I
yeah.
think.
Um, One of their bigger receivers got hurt before the game, and then uh, Jamison Williams tore his ACL in the first half.
Yeah, John Mechie tore his ACL earlier this season, and then Jamison Williams tore his ACL in this game.
And then
And Williams was actually projected to be like the top receiver in this draft. So that's a big RIP moment, if you ask me.
mm-hmm. No, it was kind of terrible for him and his
Yeah.
draft stock.
Oh yeah.
But
It was a the fourth quarter was a good game.
yeah, the first quarter was interesting because it was like was there a touchdown by Alabama? I think so.
Uh-huh.
And Georgia also scored touchdowns, which was very interesting to watch.
Yeah, Georgia scored the touchdown with like a minute 20 left in the third quarter. And then Bama kicked a field goal and then they got the ball back again. Um and Bama scored a touchdown, failed a two-point conversion. Georgia immediately drives down the field. 2 minutes later, they get a touchdown, and then they missed the two-point conversion. So Georgia's only up by one, and then they had a touchdown with 3.5 minutes left in the game, and then Keely Ringo, who had a good game last night, had a 80-yard pick six, because
Mm-hmm.
he is that guy. But yeah, it was like a clean game, but it was also not good for most of
Normally,
it.
college games, especially these two like powerhouses this year,
Mhm.
you'd expect them both to score like 30 to 50 points each,
Yeah.
and it was just for the first half only field goals. That is it,
hmm
and it was
Like
just it was boring.
how rarely do you see a game go into halftime at a score of 6-9? Nice, but like still. Yeah, it was just a really weird game.
Yeah,
And that's all I gotta say about it.
I wanted it to be better. It was just, and Bryce
Yeah.
Young, he's a sophomore. He'll probably be there again. He looked
Yeah.
He's a Heisman winner for a reason. I saw a lot of moments of him being really good. He has a lot to work on, and he looks like a young college quarterback. So,
Yeah.
already a Heisman
I
winner.
don't
He has a lot to improve, but I think he's gonna be pretty good in a year or two.
I don't think he's gonna be like the generational talent at number one overall guaranteed.
No,
Like I don't think he's that kind of player. But I think he's a solid player now, and could be a solid player in the future.
I
Oh,
think.
good news, Nacho.
Go
My
ahead.
Balloons game ended on round 200.
Ah,
Tragic.
I think he'll be someone that people like want to trade up for, but he's not gonna be the number one overall, or he might
Mm,
be.
I don't even know about that.
Well,
It
if you,
depends on the draft class.
that's true. Um, Tetson Bennett though, the quarterback for Georgia. I'm pretty sure he's a senior.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's gotta be. He's like 23.
I don't know that he's not. He looked bad for the majority of this game. He makes such good throws and like good plays, but then he a lot of times it just looks like he's uneducated and just making
Yeah,
terrible decisions.
yeah.
He
He's like so inconsistent. I would say.
he's someone you draft because he has potential and you keep him as a backup, and he's not going to play in the NFL like if he was drafted as a backup for like 5 years until he got like a shot when, and like, you're blowing out a team and then
Mhm.
you let your backup go in. He's that
Yeah,
kind of player.
and I said this when I said this when we started or when we started watching the game. Tetson Bennett is the Nick Foles of college football this season
Mm-hmm.
because he came in to back up JT Daniels and then he went out with injury and then Bennett really just stepped up, took over the role and won the chip. And that's all Georgia really needed. They needed someone who was good enough to let their defense do the rest.
Yeah.
And their defense kind of fucked in this
Oh my
game.
god, the Georgia defense was insane.
Yeah. Like I got to just check Georgia's like games this season. Um so they lost to Alabama in the SEC Championship 41-24. That is the most points they've given up. The next most points they've given up, right underneath 44, is 18 to Alabama in this game.
Oh.
Like, you look at how many points their opponents have scored in their games. Number 3 Clemson scored 3 points. Number 8 Arkansas got shut out. Number 11 Kentucky scored 13. Like like the next biggest is Tennessee with 17. But like you're not scoring on this Georgia defense. Michigan only scored 11 in the semifinal. Number 18 Auburn only scored 10. Like this defense was dominant throughout the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Well,
think that's it for
I
college.
got one tiny little note that I just want to poke
Oh,
in there.
okay.
Uh, Darnell Washington,
Oh
or
yeah.
Big O, um, was a tight end for, or is a tight end for Georgia. He's 6'7", 265 pounds, and I just thought he was cool.
I liked Big O. Big O, if you're watching, shout out to you.
Yeah, we love you, Big O.
We love you, Big O.
Now
All right,
on to week. Oh, I gotta change that. Week
bro.
18.
Man put 17 in the doc.
I never changed it. Last
Oh,
week
I
of
see.
the NFL regular season. Let's
Yeah,
go into our. Okay.
there's a lot of wild clinching scenarios, and
Yeah, and then they
yeah,
happened
and then a lot of them happened. Yeah,
when they shouldn't have.
some of them shouldn't have. There's at least one team in the playoffs who
Doesn't
shouldn't
deserve to be
be,
there.
but more on that later.
Go ahead with your final best of the 2021 season
What do you mean final best?
of the
You
regular
don't think?
season.
Oh, so my final best was Kansas Kansas City at Denver. I thought this was just a good competitive game. Nacho has the quarterback stats, but that's not like entirely, you know, correct.
What do you mean?
It's correct, but it's not like entirely like showing the game.
Okay, well,
You know.
I did talk really quick.
Yeah, yeah, okay, buddy. Uh, Denver lost by 4, and which I think we said they were gonna be blowouts, if I remember correctly.
Probably.
Um, and Kansas City needed to win if they wanted a high seed. They would have gotten the 1 or the 2 guaranteed if they won this game, and they did. And Denver was just playing for pride, even though Vic Fangio got fired literally the day after.
Yeah.
First blood, if you will, of this firing cycle. But Mahomes went 27 for 44, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, not terrible stats, but not great. And then Drew Lock went 12 for 24 with 160 yards, 162 yards and 0 touchdowns. But Melvin Gordon kind of popped off. He had 110 yards off of 12 carries, which that's a lot of yards per carry when you really, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Then Javonte Williams, their other running back, had 46 yards. Overall, it was like a complete game. There were some like good offensive plays. There were some good defensive plays, and that's literally it. That's literally all that there was. It was just solid, complete football.
I mean, that's what you want to end it on. So,
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
My best game was San Fran at the Rams, and this was pretty anticipated to be a best game. Rams winning it 27-24 in overtime. This
Rams
was
winning it.
Niners winning it. Niners win. I love how George Kittle says it after every game. He goes to any newsletter and goes, Niners win, baby. Niners
I was
win.
gonna have this as my best, but then you had already stolen it.
Mm-hmm. 27-24 in overtime. Pretty good game. The Niners took a while to get into any sort of rhythm.
Yeah, down 17-0 at one point.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I would have liked to see them, win, but they did. They pulled out. Jimmy Garoppolo going 23 for 32, 316 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, those are just great numbers. I mean, not the interceptions, but you're playing the Rams defense.
Yeah, I think subtract the interceptions from both quarterbacks, and those are pretty good days.
Yeah. People saying Jimmy's washed. No.
Jimmy also did this on a half broken thumb.
Yeah, people shit on Jimmy a lot, and I really don't understand why. He's a good quarterback.
Did you hear the context of the injury, what's going on in his hand?
No.
So he tore a tendon, and it is ripping in his throwing hand.
Yeah.
And it is ripping the bone out of position. That tendon. Or it's something to that effect. So he's doing all of that with basically half a thumb.
What
Do
do you
not
need?
call this man washed.
What do you
Do
need?
not call this man
Thumbs anyway.
washed. Yeah, that's true.
Deebo Samuel threw a touchdown. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Exciting part of the game. Other side of the field, Matthew Stafford going 21 for 32, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I mean, those 2 interceptions, the Niners were out to win, so they were on it. But also, Matthew Stafford was pretty elite, pretty good. Matthew, it's Matthew Stafford, so you gotta expect a lot of.
It was okay.
Cooper Kupp going for 118 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I believe he was 14 yards and like 2 receptions.
He was so close
short.
to 2,000 yards.
No, he was. Yeah, he was like 14 yards short of the record. I'm pretty sure he got 2,000 yards.
No, he was 53 yards short of 2,000 receiving yards.
I thought he needed less. I thought he only needed like 132 to pass Calvin.
What's Calvin's?
Calvin's at like 2,000 something. I don't know. I gotta check that. Keep talking.
All right. This was just a all-out brawl by the Niners. They obviously it's a win and in scenario, so they gotta win, and obviously it's their rivals. The Rams want to keep them out, so they were fighting hard. But I'm also looking up the record, and he was.
Calvin was. He was 317. He was 17 yards short of the receptions record. I don't know how many. I think he was like he was only a few short of the receiving. He was 4 short of the receptions record. And then I don't think he was up for the touchdown records. Or maybe he was.
In any case, Cooper Kupp has had a great season, but I have seen him getting a little bit of hate because he can't play outside at all because he's dog shit outside, and that's why he's a slot guy. And people are like, he's a terrible receiver. He's not a top 5 receiver because he's a terrible outside guy. Who the fuck cares when he's putting up these crazy ass numbers? Who the fuck gives a shit?
Who cares? Yeah, like he still was, like statistically and like I think just in general, Cooper Kupp was the best wide receiver this year. I'm not gonna say ever. I'm gonna say this year.
Is he gonna produce the same thing next year? I don't know. He could, but this is his first good season. So it's kind of hard to judge him off of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he produces anywhere close to what he did this season, yeah, he's a top receiver. Yeah. If he doesn't do it again, good season though.
He did get the Triple Crown.
He did,
which is good. He led the league this year in receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, and receptions. So I don't think I would call it an MVP season.
No.
Because wide receivers are not like MVP is a quarterback award, really. It's who's the best quarterback, and then sometimes
Adrian Peterson.
If you have an incredible season as a running back or like a historic season as a defensive player, then you can maybe be considered for MVP. But I think it's gonna be between Brady and Rodgers. I don't see any other options really.
No, it's like JT should be in the question just because he's had a great season, but
I would put him third on the ballot.
He's not a winner for MVP. And I also disagree that receivers should get MVP because the quarterback is there to put the ball in the playmaker's hands, and if there's a good enough playmaker, I think they should be in the question. I'm not saying Cooper Kupp should be in the question because I don't think he's been the guy. If you're that's the thing is if you want to be an MVP, you're gonna have to be a receiver that's thrown to like the majority every game, and you're gonna have to put up touchdowns and put up crazy plays, like not just the numbers, but you're gonna have to play well. So
Yeah,
it is difficult, but I think it is possible.
if you're looking at a receiver, you're gonna be looking like for, uh, like an MVP or an award. You're gonna be looking towards like yards after catch
Mhm.
because, um, or maybe even just like
The catch.
yeah, like you have to look at each individual reception because like you can just get an easy ball placed in your hand by your quarterback,
Hmm.
and then you know you run a little bit, you're in touchdown, whatever. But like once you start getting yards after catch, you're like, okay, this person had 50 yards after the catch. That's a lot of running after you caught a ball. When
And you have to run
in this
into
league,
receiver or DBs,
yeah, in this league, like probably 98% of the time, you catch the ball
and you're hit.
and you're tackled. You're taken down. Almost instantly. You might get like 5 to 10 max. But if you start getting like if you start putting moves on people, stiff arms, and you can start like raising that to like, 20, 40, like up there, maybe I'll put you in consideration, but I don't know. I don't know Cooper Cup's yak.
It's also different for like outside and slot guys because if you're in the slot, you're gonna be getting the ball after like 3-5 yards, and then you're gonna have to run. Outside guys, you're running 20 yards, catch the ball, maybe a touchdown because
Yeah.
you've outrun the guy. But anyways, good game. Niners in the playoffs. Good for them. I think
They deserve it.
they've had a lot of hardships this season, and they fought their asses off. They're one of the teams that definitely deserves a spot in the playoffs. So good for them.
Yeah. And I like how they were the last team to get in for the NFC, and they're not even the 7th seed. They're the 6th seed.
Hmm.
I thought that was pretty neat. Um Anyways, let's move on to some not good football. I had Washington we I just realized that both of our games for worst.
Same division.
Yeah. So basically our worsts are the NFC East.
Yeah.
Mine was Washington and the Giants because holy shit, what a terrible game.
Yeah, and I remember I was watching it because this was a 1 o'clock game.
I
Well,
wasn't.
you weren't. I
I
thought we
watched
were. I
I
thought we were
watched
watching this
I
together.
watched I watched Red Zone.
Oh, it's because this wasn't on Red Zone.
Yeah. This game
Um,
was hardly shown on Red Zone.
I wanted to peek in. I watched it, and I joined the Discord call, and I go, the Giants are fucking dog shit
Yeah.
because they were playing like it. They,
They were playing like dog shit.
yeah, they were.
Yeah. Um so shout out to Gettleman, quote unquote, retiring. Um yeah, he would have I don't think he would have retired if we were gonna keep him for next year. And shout out to Joe Judge getting fucking booted like 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
I think. I think news broke a couple like 3 hours ago that Joe Judge was getting the axe. And thank fucking God. I was high on
Three
Joe
hours ago.
Judge. I was high on Joe Judge at the when we first hired him. I'm like, okay, you know, I like his mentality. I like, where he's coming from. And then we lost. We went like 6-10 even after almost making the playoffs last year. And then this year, like I was like, okay, new season, whatever. But the play call, and we fired Jason Garrett. All right, the play call was horrible. Then we fired Jason Garrett, and everything's like, yeah, everything's gonna be better now. And then the play call didn't get better. And Sunday, when I witnessed a QB sneak on not only 2nd and 12, but also on 3rd and 9. When I witnessed that, I knew it was over. I knew there's no way that he was gonna retain a job.
Yeah, which
And
makes me think we should probably talk about all the coaches that got fired, even though they're all pretty obvious except for one.
yeah. Well, I think we should save that for a future episode
What,
after the Super Bowl
head coaches?
when we have yeah.
No, I'm just saying we can talk about how they got fired.
Oh, Joe Judge was one of them.
It was.
And thank fucking God.
After we get all of the best and worst, and certainly we can talk about judges or head coaches.
Or just game reviews in general. We can talk about that.
Mm-hmm. You done? No,
Yeah.
let's just say. My worst was Dallas against Philly. Dallas won 51-26, and you're like, oh, why is this a bad game? Is because the Cowboys play against Philly's second, third, and fourth string players because Philly was like, fuck that. Nobody's getting injured. We're playing healthy in the playoffs. Everybody who hasn't played this season, suit up. You're playing. And they got dogged by, Dak Prescott went 21 for 27, 295 yards, 5 touchdowns on a shitty Eagles defense. And people were like, oh no, that's going to be bad for playoffs. That wasn't the actual Eagles. They just they're in the playoffs. Yeah. Fuck it. Well, we don't need to play.
Philly's playoff position was locked. They had zero control over what happened. If they lost and the Niners won, which is what happened, they're the 7th seed. If they lost and the Niners win and the Niners lose and the Saints get in, then Philly's the 6th seed. It doesn't matter what happens with Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Or Philly didn't control their own seeding. Other teams did. They're already locked in, but I understand sitting in your starters, especially since they got a huge fucking game coming up.
They do. Which poor guys.
Poor guys indeed.
Yeah. And then Minshew played. Always great to see Minshew playing. Love that guy.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, he's cool. I don't see him staying on the Eagles for a while.
I don't know. I think there's a surplus of quarterbacks. I genuinely think that there is a surplus of quarterbacks, and that's why these draft classes seem so diluted. Because we got to compare this college guy to someone who's already proven in the NFL, and we can't because this guy sucks compared to this veteran. So I think we're gonna have to start seeing some people some quarterbacks retire before we get.
I'm not saying that Minshew is going to get a starting job, which I don't really think he deserves one. I don't know if he's he was starter caliber in Jacksonville, but I don't think
there's a few teams I could probably go off that
but
probably would have improved with Minshew.
I don't know what his salary is or when it ends.
It's probably not that much.
But it's not. He signed a 4-year, $2 million or almost $3 million contract. That's not great. But it's a rookie contract.
That's his rookie deal. He's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, Minshew has not been in the league for that long.
Huh? I didn't know he signed a 4-year rookie deal though. I thought for him he would have signed a 2 or 3.
He was in the 19 draft.
2019. Yeah, so he's
next year is his last year. I'm just saying if a team wants a good backup, they're gonna go out and get Minshew. I wasn't saying that he's gonna be a starter somewhere. I'm just saying I don't know if he's gonna stay with the Eagles if someone's like when Mitch was done with the Bears and the Bills were like, yeah, we'll take him as a backup. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
why not?
Is like if someone needs like a who needs a backup right now?
The Giants,
Yeah, no, it's actually a great spot for him.
the Lions probably.
Also a great spot for him. He could start in
Uh,
Detroit, I think, if they don't
I
have
think he
anyone
could start
else.
over Jared Goff.
Yeah, if they still have Jared.
Mhm. Green Bay needs a backup.
Oh my God, that's a good spot for him.
Minshew and Green. That's weird. I don't like
It
that.
is, but it isn't because Jordan Love's supposed to be like the next guy after Aaron, and Minshew is not the next guy in Green Bay. I'm assuming that
Nah,
Green Bay is gonna find their next guy and then stick him as the
nah.
backup.
Surely they don't. I don't know. They've done it in the past, so they probably will.
Uh,
Is it time to move on to the fan voted favorite segment
it
of
is.
the show?
It is.
That certainly was
Was
a
a
game.
game.
You may
I
read the title of the episode and may wonder, whoa, what's going on?
So the Indianapolis Circus Clown played in Jacksonville, losing to Jacksonville 11-26. Carson Wentz, you're washed. You're dog shit. I've been praising you all season for getting better and doing good. You did so dog shit. You did so bad.
Send Gardner Minshew to Indianapolis right now.
I mean, Colts, you're out of the playoffs. You're like that. You lost.
All you had to do was beat a 2-14 team that like you have dominated, that you dominated earlier this year, and then you go to playoffs.
And
Simple as that.
yeah, and
Jacksonville's
you
only
can't even
wins,
do that right.
Jacksonville's only wins were against the Dolphins, who were shit
Yeah.
at the time,
Mm-hmm.
the Bills, who had an off game, and now the Colts. They lost to they beat 3 winning teams. I just realized.
The Dolphins weren't winning a winning
The
team.
Dolphins had a winning team. Yeah, they had a winning record.
Were they?
The Dolphins had a winning record. They went 9-8.
Oh, I just meant like at the time they played them.
Oh, at the time they played them, no.
Yeah. Jacksonville. Actually, this was good for your defense. Looked not bad. It didn't look that bad. Your D line was getting to the quarterback. Oh yeah. Oh, the Colts O line. You know they have 2 top 100 players on the O line. They could not block the Jags. Their O line let Carson Wentz down so much. Carson Wentz had like no time in the pocket. He had to run around and just get the ball out early, and it just did not work out. The Colts O line had a dog shit game, but the Jags didn't look that bad. Trevor Lawrence on like a fucked up snap, like still got a touchdown. If people watch that game or watch the highlights, they know what play I'm talking about. He played like a number 1 overall quarterback. He played like a first round rookie. Like obviously he wasn't like amazing, but he was like, wow, this is pretty good. This is good for Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence had a career game today. I think that's very safe to assume.
Mm-hmm.
He went 23 for 32, 223 yards, which isn't great, but it's not like
It's not bad.
That's not totally dog shit. And he had 2 touchdown passes. That is a career game for Trevor Lawrence, who honestly probably had probably one of the worst seasons we've seen out of
Our rookie quarterbacks.
A rookie.
But also he's had nothing this
good.
whole season. And not to say that he shouldn't have like, still had some ups here and there, which he kind of played like dog shit a lot. Yeah. Like even without saying, he's in a bad system, he is. But he wasn't playing like a number 1 overall.
No, he had 17 interceptions, which was like 3rd to last. He only had 12 touchdowns, which was 5th to last. And like his passing yards weren't terrible, but he just had nobody. I think DJ Chark was out for like most of the season, because I have not heard his name called in a while. Yeah, he was on IR. Yeah, he was out for the season early. They had Marvin Jones, who's a good veteran presence. I think he's kind of underrated. He was really good in Detroit and with Matthew Stafford, but that defense let them down. Uh, Laquan Treadwell, who kind of showed up. Laviska Shenault also showed up this season. Like they showed up towards the end, but Jacksonville still kind of sucked.
And
The defense was
I mean, Travis Etienne, their other first round pick, who's a running back
yeah.
at Clemson, they were turning him into a receiver. We couldn't see anything from him because he got injured in preseason, but this isn't.
That sucks.
I think Jacksonville's gonna have a better season than they did this year. I think Jacksonville started to figure things out. They're gonna get a new head coach in there, and I think things will turn around. Maybe I don't know if they're gonna have like a good winning season, maybe like a 500 season, or a little bit less. But I don't think they're gonna do. I think this is a good turning point for them. I think they just started to get a little bit of momentum. So in the off season, I think they're gonna come out lukewarm.
Yeah. And the best part is that they still, even though they won, they still kept the number 1 overall pick.
They did.
So that's always good. But surely Jacksonville can't get worse than this, right?
I don't think so.
Surely they can't get worse.
I don't think so.
All right, moving on to some other games. Cleveland and Cincy played. And this was I didn't pay attention at all to this game.
I should have put this as my worst game because this was also dog shit.
It was 2 backup quarterbacks playing.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow and Mixon were both out with COVID, I believe. Yeah, I believe Burrow and Mixon were out with COVID. And then Baker Mayfield went in for surgery so he can be ready for next year on his shoulder. So Case Keenum got the start. And boy, these are some numbers on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking at numbers. Brandon Allen went 15 for 29, 136 yards and a touchdown. Case Keenum went 17 for 24, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
It would have been cool if Cincy won this game. I think they would have. Cincy's the 3rd seed. Actually, they wouldn't have changed, would they?
Nothing would have mattered.
Would they have kept the 2nd?
No, Cincy's the 4th seed.
Oh, that's correct.
So
yes.
they would have been the 3rd seed had they won.
But they get to play the Raiders, and we'll get into that later. But I think that's
they get to play the Raiders instead of the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this game kind of sucked, and I just kind of want to leave it at that.
It did. It was bad.
Speaking of sucking, they can't even get the number 1 overall pick because they won a game. Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how Detroit finishes the season with the same amount of losses as the Giants.
That's funny.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm at a loss for words.
I almost put this as, excuse me, my best game, or certainly was. It could have fit in either one of those. Boy, was this a fun one. Aaron Rodgers went out and played for a little bit. He went 14 for 18, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's just efficiency right there. He didn't really need to do much.
Yeah, I think he only played the first half, and then the backups came in for the second.
He only played the first half just to play a little bit, and then Jordan Love came in 10 for 17, 134 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions because he's dog shit.
True.
Detroit Lions. You did pretty good. You won 37 to 30.
Congratulations, you won a meaningless game.
Jared Goff went 21 for 30, 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, like, that's pretty good. That's a good way to end the year. Um,
Can we talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown again?
yeah, we can.
109 yards off of 8 receptions and a touchdown. What a good receiver.
Playing against
There's
his
a
brother.
Playing against his brother Economius. I don't know his name. I
I
don't know
don't
how
know
to
how
say
to
his name.
pronounce it either.
We were making fun of him a couple episodes ago, and then uh I learned that they were brothers like this week.
Yeah, well,
I'm like,
I
oh,
the
that's
NFL is
nice.
posting pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Well, cause their parents got the
Yeah,
like split jersey thing, which I think, in my
looks dog
opinion, is
shit.
kind of fire.
No,
Oh,
I
oh,
was gonna say
I see we have different
they
takes.
could have, well, because it's like the the torso is blue and the sleeves are green and it looks stupid. They could have just done a half and half and I think it would have looked fine.
Yeah, that's what like the Curry family does when Steph plays Seth.
Yeah, just like split it straight down the middle.
Yeah,
I think it gets the point across a little bit better. Um, but in any
but
case,
then
this
the
is,
numbers are fucked up.
yeah, but who cares?
Like I know Amon Ra wears 14, and I don't know what
19, I
his
think.
brother wears. 19.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I guess you could have had it
Yeah, but
then.
on
The
once
one
like
space.
on like in front of you, you would have had the 4, and the back would have been a 9,
Yeah,
so it would have been fine.
yeah, I guess.
But good game for Detroit. I'm sure the fans loved it. I mean, it would have been good momentum had there had been any games left to play. Um, Lions got to figure out a lot to do in the offseason. They have a lot of work to do if they want to do anything next year.
Yeah, and they have the second overall pick, and I think that I don't know. I think that they can. I think this is could be a turning point for them. You said it for Jacksonville. I think it could be one for the Lions as well.
That's what I was kind of getting at. Yeah, I think that this is good for them. I think that they're going to come back pretty strong. Or not pretty. I think they're going to come back and win some games that people didn't think they would win.
Yeah, I think they need to improve their offensive line and add an edge rusher. They're in prime position to get generational talents with either Aiden Hutchinson or most likely Kayvon Thibodeau in the draft. Two big defensive ends, very good at rushing the passer, which Detroit had little to none of throughout the season
Mm-hmm.
this year. Like their secondary was eh. This year it was just eh.
Yeah.
Their linebackers not almost non-existent, and their three up front were actually non-existent. But I think you already upped the offensive line last year, up the defensive line, start in the trenches, and you can win games.
And go get a quarterback. Go get somebody. We
That's
talk
not an
about
immediate need. That I think, honestly, if you want to hear my take,
Go ahead. I think
you
I know what
can
you're gonna say, but
probably you could probably take Stetson Bennett in a late round,
yeah, probably.
and it would be decent.
I was gonna say go get Jimmy before they kick him out of
You
San Fran.
think?
Yeah, we talked about this earlier in past
No.
Mingas. That like, where else is Jimmy gonna go? Because they want to move to Trey Lance clearly, even
Yeah.
though like you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I get you want another Colin Kaepernick in Trey Lance, but I don't think you should just give up on Jimmy this early.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
At least another season of Jimmy, at least.
Yeah, well then you need at least another season of Jared Goff.
Yeah, all right.
I don't think Goff's that bad.
I
I
don't
think he
either.
gets I think he gets a lot of shit, but he's an average quarterback.
He's had some games where he's been playing like his old self.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's just really weird for him because he has nothing to really work with. I mean, he has St. Brown, but
Yeah.
it'll be a different season next year. Next year's gonna be a complete different season, I think.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell is bringing them in the right direction, but I don't want him to turn out like another Joe Judge, where he's like a fan favorite in his first season, and in the second season you definitely start seeing all of the flaws that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's big in the locker room, and he's all the fans like him, but is he a coach? Is he a good coach? Is what it boils down to at the end of the day. And we'll see. The
Yeah,
Lions are going to be an interesting team to watch throughout the next 3 years in
yeah,
their rebuild, their eternal rebuild.
they're heading the right way though.
I think this could be a good turning point for them, for a team that has experienced nothing but pain for almost their entire
I'd say they're
existence.
pretty numb to it by now, but
Yeah, that's true.
all right. Before
Chicago.
I was gonna say before we
Oh
move
fuck.
on, I have an announcement to make.
Oh, what is your
It's
announcement?
just a quick little bit. Um, I gotta piss a gallon. So you have fun with this one.
All right, I got it. Chicago played in Minnesota, and this was actually a close game at the start. But then eventually Minnesota ran away with it in like the fourth quarter, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, really the fourth quarter. They scored 3 consecutive touchdowns. Um, Andy Dalton had like a really good day passing yards wise. He went 33 for 48 with 325 yards, but he only threw 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, 14 for 22, 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. I had to look up the stats on Kirk Cousins for the season, but he had a pretty good season. 33 touchdowns, which was ninth in the league, to 7 interceptions, which is tied for third. His QBR ended at 51.9, which was 15th, so average. And he finished with 4,200 passing yards, which was ninth in the league. So, statistically speaking, Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Now, now I know that's a hot take, but I think it's accurate. I've called him average all all season. All season since this started. I've called Kirk Cousins the average quarterback. Like the baseline really for good. But I think he's stepping up a little bit.
I think so too.
Thanks. I was just talking about how Kirk Cousins, statistically speaking, is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Huh? Is he?
I mean, he's ninth in yards, ninth in touchdowns, third in interceptions, or yeah, interceptions like being the least amount.
Mm-hmm.
And like his QBR isn't bad, and his passer rating's pretty good. He had a 142 passer rating in this game against Chicago. Like that's kind of nuts.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So Kirk Cousins is good.
I
Andy Dalton threw a lot.
I know.
I
There's someone who threw more than him, but
Ooh,
we'll get into
I gotta look. I gotta look real quick.
last one.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh
I
God.
almost made a joke about that his name. Good numbers for Andy Dalton. I only really watched this on Red Zone to see Minnesota being good and
Yeah.
scoring touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, he's the second most receiving yards
I think so.
for a receiver. In his second year, he beat OBJ for 2 years of receiving yards. Kid is nuts, and I think he's gonna have a. I think he's gonna have a little stint in Minnesota, and then someone's gonna be like, "I want you."
For who?
Hmm.
Who? Wait. Who are you talking about?
Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Justin Jefferson's not gonna stay a Viking?
Forever? I mean, I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting.
I mean, maybe, maybe Mac Jones wants to pull a Randy Moss and go get him or something.
Oh God.
I don't know.
I don't. I don't think the Vikings are just gonna let. I don't think they're gonna let him like stay like that. I don't think they're gonna let him go. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Well, we'll see. That's a way down the line. But I'm assuming you covered the whole thing when as I said, pissed a gallon.
Yeah.
Was indeed the gallon. Moving on. Pittsburgh
Nice.
at Baltimore. Um, this was a weird game because I don't like Pittsburgh because I don't like Pennsylvania sports teams. Um,
Really? I didn't know just don't like Pennsylvania sports teams.
and well, it's because the Eagles beat us, and now I'm sour against
Damn.
Pennsylvania. But I also hate the Ravens more as a bit, but also not really because they're just weird. They're just
I wanted the
actual
Ravens to
weirdos.
win. I wanted the Ravens to win this game.
And because Indy lost like a bunch of morons, uh Pittsburgh is mathematically in the playoffs because they won this game.
Yeah. Remember when the Ravens were 8-3 and then lost 6 straight to end the season?
Yeah. They also haven't had Lamar for a while.
Yeah. Well, the two of those games were against Lamar, or were with Lamar,
Mm-hmm.
or 1.5 really. But yeah, Baltimore I think was one of the biggest roller coasters of this year. If we're really gonna say something about Baltimore,
Yeah, the
because
beginning of the season, I was like, Lamar Jackson sucks. He can't throw for shit. And then he goes out and throws a lot. And I'm like, wow, he's pretty good.
not even that. It's just preseason hits, and it's like, okay, the Ravens, they got a good shot at winning the entire like AFC. A lot of people are picking them to go to Super Bowl. Um, and then Marlon Humphrey goes down. All of their running backs, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, they all go down. And then you're like, well, shit. That means Lamar has to throw the ball. Who does he have to throw the ball to? And everyone's like, Mark Andrews? And that's it? Really?
Yeah.
Marquise Brown isn't great. Sammy Watkins is, in my opinion, kind of like washed.
Washed. I was going to say, yeah.
He's kind of washed up. Um, their line is good,
Mm-hmm.
and their defensive front is
Was
good
good.
enough. Their defensive front is good.
Or their defense as a whole.
Their defense as a whole was really good,
Top tier.
but
And
like
now.
they just got injured to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, oh well, maybe next year. And then they pulled out some big wins. They lost week 1 to the Raiders in overtime. And they got a couple. They went on a big winning streak. Lost one there, lost one there, and then everyone's like, "Wow, the Ravens could be good. They could be good even without their running backs and their secondary." And then they lose 6 straight. So tough end to the season, but they tried. They get the they tried award.
Yeah, they did. I now have a Ravens jersey, Trace McSorley. That's funny.
It's crazy. They finished last in the AFC North.
Yeah, behind the
They
Browns.
finished behind Cleveland.
How do you do that?
That's gotta hurt.
You gotta try to do that.
That's gotta hurt, especially this year.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Are those the actual numbers for Big Ben?
Um,
Oh, they aren't. They aren't. They're wrong.
I'm
I
wrong.
was about to say.
Oh yeah,
I was about to say. There's no way those are the real
I
numbers.
had accidentally written 30 for 33, which is nuts for him.
That would have. I would have screamed if those were the real
I mean,
numbers.
30 for 44 is not nothing to,
Oh no, it's
snark
still
at.
pretty good. It's still pretty good, but it's not 3 incompletions. You know, having only 3 incompletions in a game is like very good. 244 yards, touchdown and a pick. So
those are
again,
pretty good numbers for him.
pretty good, especially
Um,
since he can barely throw the ball more than 20 yards.
this is true.
Tyler Huntley, on the other hand, 16 for 31, 141 yards, and 2 interceptions. And this is a man who I praised last week, totally proving me wrong. Latavius Murray was the only thing keeping them close in this game, having 150 yards and a touchdown. One of those was a 46-yard touchdown run. But yeah, in the end, it went to overtime. Chris Boswell kicked a field goal to win it for them. And that's that. That's it for the Ravens.
A team who could not beat the Lions is in the playoffs.
Huh.
Let that sink in for a second.
Hold on. I gotta check something real quick.
Okay. Are we done with
The Lions?
Okay.
The Lions beat more playoff teams than the Eagles this year. And the Eagles are in the playoffs. When I look at the Eagles' wins and losses, there is a very, very clear divide.
Oh yeah, the Lions, they beat Arizona,
They beat
Green
Arizona,
Bay, and
and tied Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read off the wins for Philly real quick.
Okay.
All right, these are their wins.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 against the Falcons. Week 5 against the Panthers.
Easy.
Week 8 against the Lions.
Easy.
And then I'm not bothered to count the weeks anymore. At the Broncos, against the Saints.
Okay.
At the Jets, against Washington, against the Giants, at Washington.
Those are dog shit teams you just named off.
They got decimated by the Cowboys twice. They got crushed by the Chiefs. They lost to the Bucks, got crushed by the Raiders, lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Giants at one point, and they lost to the Niners.
You just lost to the Giants. Can't believe it.
They lost they lost to the Giants 13-7. That's that's probably the worst game of the season right there. But yeah. Pittsburgh somehow makes it in the playoffs after tying the Lions. Wow. That's crazy.
What a playoff world we live in.
Yeah. Anyways, Tennessee played Houston.
This was a good game.
This was shockingly good. Tennessee went up 21-0 in like the first quarter.
Yeah.
And the game ended 28-25.
The second quarter.
Or second quarter, yeah.
The Texans made such a hard jab for a comeback. I mean, Davis Mills, I named him Big Dick Mills. 23 for 33, 301 yards, 3 touchdowns. And this is a what, 4th round rookie?
Yeah, or no, he was the 3rd round.
3rd
Because
round?
I'm pretty yeah, he was the first. Yeah, he was the first pick Houston had in last year's draft
You're correct.
because Houston traded away their 1st and 2nd round pick in what was it, the Laramie Tunsil trade?
That's his 4th 300-yard game.
Damn. Davis Mills has a career in Houston, I think.
I know. I was just about to bring that up. I don't think worrying about Deshaun is a problem I mean, obviously, Deshaun Watson, like, allegations aside, only focusing on his play is elite. You know, Deshaun Watson has shown that he's amazing.
Yeah.
But if you can't have Deshaun, I mean, this young guy, I mean, he has great short passing. His deep ball accuracy is really good. His pocket presence is amazing. You could see how out in the Tennessee game how calm he is in the pocket. He knows where he is.
His awareness is
he trusts his O-line.
For a rookie.
He trusts his O-line. He's willing to take a hit to make a good throw, and he makes good throws. I mean, is he a guy? Can't say that. He's a rookie. You can't really say a rookie's a guy yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's not that guy yet.
Could he? Yes, he could.
I think there's a possibility.
I think he could. And that's good for you, Texans fans.
Yeah, that is good for you, Texans fans.
But yeah, the just really good game. I mean, Tannehill, he 23 for 32, 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's just crazy numbers.
Yeah, that's just Tannehill is also very good at game.
Winning the Titans, the number 1 seed, which without Derrick Henry, they haven't had Derrick Henry in forever, and they
haven't had him since like October,
and they've been playing great.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is primed for a playoff run right now. They have the 1st round bye.
They have Derrick Henry back.
They get Derrick Henry back. They have A.J. Brown playing at a good level again. Like, I think that it's Tennessee could make a pretty nice run, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into what we think, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Next game, New Orleans and Atlanta. New Orleans wins, but it means nothing because the Niners also won. So this game was for nothing. Which means that Taysom Hill got hurt for nothing. He went 7 for 9 with 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, which is pretty good.
Those are efficient numbers.
He got taken out with an ankle injury, I believe, which was gonna sideline him for 2 weeks anyways. So even if, they had made the playoffs, it would have been Trevor Siemian starting, who went 9 for 15, 71 yards and a touchdown. Not terrible for coming in cold off the bench. Matty Ice had an okay day. What?
I'm laughing because I call him Matty Ice and you never do.
Because it is Matty Ice.
I wrote his name as Matty Ice and calling him Matty Ice is funny.
Because he's Matty Ice.
He is Matty Ice.
You ever seen those Tide cold call commercials?
Yeah, that's why I've been naming him Matty Ice in the doc for a while.
He went 20 for 33, 216, a touchdown and a pick, which respectable numbers.
I mean,
but this game was just kind of boring.
Yeah,
to be real.
And I don't think that Matt Ryan is a problem in Atlanta.
Oh God, no.
He's not. I still think he's a top level quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's.
How old is Matt Ryan?
Very good. He's drafted in what, 08?
He's 36. Yeah. That's not bad. Quarterbacks start leaving around 40, so you could squeeze a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, like Rodgers is 38, I'm not gonna even bring Brady into the conversation because he's just, Brady. But like Drew Brees retired at like 40 something, 42 I think. Or no, he was a year, 42. I think he
42.
retired. Like quarterbacks are getting older because of all the rules that they have in place for them.
Because defenses can't hit anybody anymore.
Yeah, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to play defense. But like Big Ben is what 30. Here he's got to be almost 40 at this point.
Big Ben is 39.
39.
He will
He
be
turns 40 in
40
March.
in March.
Like quarterbacks are allowed to get old now and still play. Like for real this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could be around for a while more and have some wins left in him.
Maybe get a if a rookie comes out, get a rookie behind Matt Ryan.
Well, they did draft Felipe Franks, I believe, in like
Oh,
the
that's
5th
true.
round.
They have Felipe Franks and Josh Rosen.
They do have Josh Rosen. What round is Felipe Franks?
Don't know.
Doesn't even say his draft. That's cool. He's 6'6", 234. That's a big.
He was an undrafted free agent.
Really?
Yep. Out of the
When he got drafted?
Arkansas? Out of Arkansas.
Yeah, he's out of Arkansas. I thought he got drafted.
Nope.
How did they skip over that? He was like good at Arkansas, and he was like projected to go in like the 5th round or something.
Good for the Falcons.
Oh man, I'm looking
At what?
I'm looking at his 2021 passing stats.
Oh, yeah. You want to read it out loud?
Yeah, so he played a snap in this game. He had 0 completions for 1
I
attempt.
remember
and an
this
interception.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, 0 for 1 with a pick.
Against Patriots.
Was that against the Patriots?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I said for a specific reason, because he threw a pick against the Patriots.
Well, I'm pretty sure it says QBR versus New Orleans 0.8, which means that he played.
I don't see any stats under that.
I see stats for New Orleans. Full splits. Let's go.
All right, now we have to investigate. I'm going to ESPN instead of Google.
Wow, look at you go.
No, I don't see anything. Oh wait, he does have a QBR, and for Washington.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
That's what I'm saying.
Did he like rush for a play? He did. That's what it is. He was rushing.
That might have been it.
That is what it is.
Wow, what good stats.
Man, he has positive yard. He has 6 rushing yards in the season. Good for him.
Wow. Huh. He has 6 rushing yards. His long is 4. He has 1 passing attempt, 1 pick. Wow. Good games for Felipe Franks. Yeah. Anyways, this game was boring. Next game. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Jets and Buffalo.
Yeah, Jets really dogged me on this one because they were up like 10-0, and I was at work and I was like, "Yes, this is great. They're gonna beat Jets, and then we're gonna beat the Dolphins, and or the Jets are gonna beat the Bills, and we're gonna beat the Dolphins, and everyone's gonna be happy."
The Jets were never up 10-0. The Bills were up 10-0.
Oh, I remember the Jets being up. Were they ever up?
No.
Oh, then my phone lied to me. I remember them being up.
The Bills were up 10-0.
No, oh, they were. They were up 13-10.
Not the Jets.
Yeah.
The Bills were up 13-10. The Jets didn't score 13 points in this game
shit.
at all.
I'm having a problem.
I'll take it. I'll take it from here.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Bills went up 10-0, and then the Jets scored a touchdown, Bills field goal, Jets field goal, and then the Bills had 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. Which leads to a final score of 27-10. Buffalo wins. They clinch the AFC East. They are the number 3 seed in the AFC, which is crazy. How everyone thought it was going to be Bills Patriots in the 4-5 seed, but instead it's Bills Patriots from the 3 and 6 seed. I don't know why. That's really funny.
Yeah. We'll get into that later.
Stephon Diggs had 81 yards with a touchdown. Devin Singletary had 88 yards and a touchdown, and he also had a a receiving touchdown too.
Josh Allen rushed for 63 yards. He just played backyard football.
Josh Allen can run.
Yeah, he can.
He's like he can use his legs. Speaking of stats, shout out to Zach Wilson
for being dog shit.
He completed 7 out of 20 passes for 87 yards and a touchdown. And then he was also the Jets' leading rusher with 24 yards off of 2 carries. Imagine your leading rusher has 24 yards in a game. That's how you know there's 0 run game. Like, it's just non-existent.
Yeah, and all these bad teams, the Jets are 4-13. For all these bad teams, who we say have high hopes, nah, the Jets do not.
I don't think the Jets have very high hopes.
Do not. But on another stat, massive cock Mitch Trubisky, 1 for 1, 15 yards. Let's go, baby.
Wow, he completed a pass.
That's
insane.
That's a good QB rating.
That's insane.
Dude, his completion percentage is amazing.
It's incredible at this point.
Dude, I love Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know why.
I don't either.
I don't get it. I just like him.
Yeah, alright.
I need to get him with jersey.
Anyways, let's move on to make Nacho even happier.
We really do not. We really
Dolphins and the Patriots, and the Dolphins win.
We shit the bed. 24
you guys did shit the bed.
Our offense wasn't like the worst. Mac went 20 for 30, 261 yards, touchdown and a pick. He was pretty accurate. He did what he had to do. He didn't, or in some cases he didn't. Late game, I could see it was getting to him. He wasn't handling the pressure very well. And our defense shit the bed. Our defense just didn't play a good game. I'll give them credit. They've been playing amazing the majority of the season. Our defense was not good this game. We had penalties up the wazoo and just not great play. We just let up a lot. And what's his name? Johnson?
Duke Johnson?
For
the Dolphins?
Duke Johnson. This motherfucker came off of 2 practice squads, and then the Dolphins were like, "Hey, you want a shot?" And he's been great ever since. And
he's had starting jobs. He's had starting jobs in the past couple of years.
I just mean this season. He's been on like 2 practice squads.
This season, yeah. I don't know. Like, running backs can come and go, and they just get into streaks and like shit like that, you know?
I don't get it. He's had 2 100-yard games.
I don't get it.
We couldn't block him. We just couldn't. It was so annoying. He was just running and we didn't stop him. And I'm like, we have such a good run defense and we couldn't do shit.
You're getting so heated over this. I think it's funny. And if you won, you would have played in Cincinnati. Now you have to play in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, which we thought would happen anyways, but like...
Yeah.
And then Tua was chosen over Brian Flores. Tonga Vailoa. I wrote brain.
Brain floors.
um,
Yeah,
15
he
for
had
22, 109 yards, touchdown.
those are weird passing stats.
He
I'm gonna be real.
I mean, Tua played football. I don't know.
I guess he checked down. That's really all that it's like.
He didn't really play like an amazing game. He didn't play bad. He just wasn't like a Duke
15
Johnson.
for 22. He did his job.
Yeah, I mean
He didn't turn the ball over. He handed it off, and then he did what he had to do.
we got
So,
Duke
I
Johnson.
guess you got you just got Duke Johnson. That's like getting Mike Glennon.
I guess this is another situation to talk about
Why the fuck would you fire Brian Flores?
So
that is the dumbest move I think I have ever
Brian
seen.
Flores is fired because of disagreements. Brian Flores has brought 2 winning seasons these past 2 seasons.
He was a candidate for coach of the year last year, from turning around a really bad Dolphins team.
They needed
a 10-win team.
They needed someone to blame for losing this season, and they put it on Brian Flores. And that's why I said Tua was chosen over, is because they chose Tua. They said, Tua, no, you didn't do nothing wrong. It was Brian. And Brian went, what the fuck, and got fired for it. This is a terrible idea. I know it's because the front office is
moving backwards.
The front office doesn't like Brian Flores. I know Tua and Brian Flores didn't have a greatest relationship, and so they've just thought, you know what, his time's up. Who the fuck are you gonna get now, Miami? You're fucked. I mean, last season you did better than this season. Let's be real. You had a hot streak. Cool. You started out 1-7. That's bad.
But then you won 7 straight, which is good. Listen, if Brian Flores is listening, there's a job just opened up a couple hours ago in New York. I think you should take that one. I really think you should take that one.
Another job opening, Brian Flores. If you want to do the Minga doc, much appreciated.
If you want to do the Minga doc,
if you need a job, we'll find some kind of compensation. I don't know.
Don't pay.
We'll give you a Jolly Rancher per doc.
I'll give you 3 Q-tips and a quarter.
Oh, that's a steal.
It really is.
All right.
I have a container of 500 Q-tips in my bathroom right now.
You know, people say don't put them in your ear. Them shits like hit that spot in your ear.
They hit different.
They hit that spot, and you're just like, this is.
I actually, when you were getting water before we started, I had to go clean out my ears with one of them because because I could not hear through one of my ears. It was just like pressurized, clogged, and I
thought about getting like one of those ear candles.
My sister has
that like it sucks it all up, and then
yeah, my sister has one of those, and she's like, it's good. And I'm like, I gotta use that thing.
Yeah, because it melts it and then like sucks it up, and then because of the fire.
Yeah.
And then you open it up and it's disgusting.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway.
Seattle and Arizona played in a game that, if Arizona actually won, they would have won the NFC West.
But
they lost.
Yep.
Yeah, but they lost.
Russ?
Both quarterbacks had okay days.
No. I'm going to disagree with you. Where the fuck was this the rest of the season, Russ? Russell Wilson played great. He played amazing this game. Where was this?
I raise you Rashad Penny's 190 yards.
Okay, but my point still stands. You know, I know Russ, he got his fingy broken by
he did get his fingy hurt.
But
I don't think 15 for 26, 238, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Those are fantastic numbers. They're not great numbers.
I think I think they're good.
They're good numbers. All right. Because statistically speaking, Kyler Murray's 28 for 39,
You mean
240.
Phase K1?
Phase K1. Yes, Phase K1's 28 for 39, 240, and 1 touchdown is just as good. About. The real difference maker was Rashad Penny having 190 yards and a touchdown.
Well, my only thing is the Seahawks have been dog shit, and they played good this game.
They did play good this game. Tyler Lockett, 5 receptions, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Remember when we were talking about him like he was Cooper Kupp at the beginning of the season?
Because Tyler Lockett is always just a reliable receiver.
No,
Always.
but I'm saying like the way we talk about Cooper Kupp right now is how we talked about Tyler Lockett at the beginning of the season because he started out so hot.
He did start out pretty hot, but he kind of regressed once the Seahawks regressed and Russ got his fingy hurt. But like Tyler Lockett's always been a reliable receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Not
good.
much else stat wise. Like not for the Cardinals stat wise.
That's about it. Yeah, good game.
It was a game. It was a good game.
Carolina at Tampa Bay losing to
Shocker.
to Tampa 17-41. This was an incentive game for Tom, or not for Tom, but for
Gronk.
And
Gronk needed like a couple catches.
Gronk needed 7 receptions, like not a lot of yards,
It was like 50 something.
and like a couple of touchdowns, which I don't think he got all of them.
No, I think he got all. I think he got all of his incentives.
I know he got 2 of them.
I don't think he needed the touchdown, or he might have. I don't think he needed touchdowns. I think he just needed the receptions.
Either way, Tommy stayed in the game to make sure that Gronk got his incentives, which, I mean, they're besties. I mean, they both went down together, and they, you know, it's Brady's favorite target, arguably, especially in the end zone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of it. Carolina sucks a lot. Like, they're really fucking bad.
I'm a really big fan of Cam Newton talking in a post-game press conference about the lack of commitment being an issue this season. I'm a big fan of Cam Newton talking about that.
Your lack of play, buddy, has been an issue this season.
Like, really? That's crazy. But yeah, this was a game.
Tom Brady, 29 for
close.
37, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. What else do you expect?
It was a close game for most of it, and then like the second half of the fourth quarter, the Bucks just kind of ran away with it.
Yeah, it was 7-10, Bucks leading at half. Gronk had 137 yards, so he definitely met his quota. 7 receptions, which I think was the quota.
Yeah, that was the quota. That's what he needed because he got his millie. He
did talking about it. So good for him.
He was talking about it on the sidelines. Like I saw one of the Inside the NFL posts, and he's like, "I got my millie," and he was like, just talking about all of his teammates. It was funny. On the other side of the ball, though, Sam Darnold, 29 for 42, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not totally impressive, but not bad. His future is who the fuck knows. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
At this point, is he good enough to start in the NFL?
No.
Really, you don't think so?
No. Would you?
I think there's enough talent
answer me this: would you take on the Lions? Would you take Jared Goff or Sam Darnold?
On the Lions?
Yeah.
I would take Jared Goff.
On the Jags, would you take Trevor Lawrence or Sam Darnold?
I don't know. I
But
got to see one more season out of Trevor Lawrence to determine that.
okay,
I
but
think I need one more season.
considering it's not a yes, I would take Sam Darnold is my point. Sam Darnold's not a starting quarterback. He's bad. He makes plays where you're like, wow, that's a great throw, and then he throws it like straight to a DB, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, he's definitely inconsistent. I'll give you that one. But I don't know. I don't think he's like bad. I think he's good enough to start. But I think in the future, in this coming years, he's gonna have to prove himself if he wants to stay a starter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with all again, we talked about the quarterback surplus. I think he's gotta start to prove himself to be a starting caliber quarterback if he wants to maintain a starting job.
Moving on though to a Sunday night thriller in
Yeah,
Las Vegas.
I
Uh,
almost put this as my best, except for the timeout. I think
yeah.
if the timeout weren't called, this would be my best because it would have tied.
So, what's very funny about this game is since the Colts lost, if the Chargers and Raiders tied this game, that
They
means
would
that
both
they
go
would
to the
both go
playoffs.
to the playoffs. Justin. Okay, so we were talking about the throwing. We'll talk about this now. Justin Herbert threw 34 for 64. So, one, he's only making half his throws, and he threw 64 times, so his arms got fucking hurt. 3 touchdowns and a pick. Um, Derek fucked the Chargers' car. Went 20 for 36, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, he was a real game manager out there. But so this game went to overtime, which is, it could result in a tie that way, which then the both teams will go up to the playoffs.
Hmm.
And, old school rivalries aren't really a thing anymore. They are division rivals, but like division rivals don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, they do.
They do and they don't. Like you don't see
Yeah, they
huge
do.
divisional games. You don't see like
Yeah, you do.
I disagree.
I think I disagree with you.
The way they used divisional games, how they used to be, like
Yeah,
they're not the same. They are still like fun to watch, and like you see
I
the
think it's
rivalry
just.
peak out. They're just not the same as the like some like a Ravens player trying to murder some Steelers player, something like
I
that.
think it's seen differently because like some teams don't have big rivalries with other teams in their divisions. Like you see like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, those they hate each other. Cowboys and Eagles, they hate each other. But then you don't see like Washington and Giants because, they both suck. They both like historically have not been good teams at the same times. You know, like Detroit and Minnesota. They both have not been good teams at the same time. Or yeah, at the same times.
Green Bay and the Bears have.
Yeah, and that's why that's such a big rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay and the Bears, you're always like, "Oh, that's got to be a primetime game. That's going to be good." Like uh what's another one? I'm looking at like this week's. The Rams and the Niners. Like that's usually always a big game, big divisional. New England, Miami. Like you always get big divisional games, and then you get like Tampa Bay, Carolina. They're just Carolina's a new team. They didn't have time to form a historical rivalry really.
Mm-hmm.
But the Falcons and the Saints, they hate each other. Like those are big. There's some big divisional games. I think. It's just Chargers and Raiders. They're both kind of just meh teams.
But anyways, it's like the clock is running at this point, and it's what like 30, 20 seconds left, and
Yeah, something like that.
Chargers call timeout. Why? The fuck? are you calling a timeout there?
Do you want
Because
to hear his explanation for why?
I actually would.
So he said that the reason why he called the timeout was because he knew they were going to run the ball, so they wanted to get their run defense on the field.
Oh.
That's why Brandon Staley called the timeout with 38 seconds left. And then Josh Jacobs hit a 10-yard run, which put Vegas in field goal range, and then they hit the field goal,
Yeah,
and the Chargers lost.
I heard in the press conference after the Raiders were talking about, yeah, we could tie.
Oh yeah, afterwards they were totally like, let's play for the tie at this point, because it was 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
Might as well run out clock. Or it was 2nd and 11. You run out clock 7 yards. All right. 3rd and 4 after the timeout. You want to run out clock again?
This was
I
an
guess.
8 o'clock game. Everybody was aware of a tie.
Yeah. Everyone was definitely aware that a tie would send both of them there. But Brandon Staley, he called that timeout. Oh man.
Which the Raiders must have been like, what the fuck? Fuck these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, the Chargers charged themselves again.
They missed the playoffs, which is really sad.
It is kind of sad. They were a favorite to go into it.
Yeah.
And then they beefed it. And remember when I said the Chargers and the Bengals will not both make the playoffs?
You did say that.
I said that when the Ravens were good. The Ravens didn't even fucking make it. But the Steelers did. Oh, that still bothers me. Yeah, Derek Carr did good. Justin Herbert threw a lot of passes. I went to check the stats for this game on ESPN.
Yeah.
It doesn't show stats.
Oh, very cool.
I checked the box score, no box score. I can check the play-by-play, but no stats. And that bothers me.
I feel like an old man. If you'd like to go on another tangent, I'm gonna piss my second gallon.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
I'll go over.
I normally drink this amount of water. Okay, yeah, I normally drink this amount of water. By the way, this is normal.
Before you go, you owe me $1.
For what?
Preds.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the predictions. We had a pretty solid week, if you ask me. Nacho went 9-7, and he did get one perfect prediction, which was the Buffalo game. I went 11-5, and I got 2 perfect. I got the San Fran game and the Vegas game. I predicted both by 3, and they both won off of overtime field goals. So Nacho's final predictions total is 94-70, which brings an average of about 573, and he had 3 perfect predictions all season. So that's pretty good. I went 98 for 66 with a 598 winning percentage, and I had 6 perfect predictions. Just because I'm just that good. Really. So I think that brings us to Wildcard Weekend, which is gonna be fun, I think. There's 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and there's gonna be 1 Monday Night Football game.
So the
And
NFL are
the first
liars
night-
because they called it Wildcard Weekend, and Monday is not.
And
the
it
weekend.
extends the Monday. Fuck it. Put a game on Friday.
Man,
That'll count more than the Monday one.
I do not understand why I'm pissing this much.
Just piss your pants.
Fuck. Should have.
You should have. Just piss your pants and don't say anything. Shout out to Robert who just redeemed hydrate in the chat.
No, Robert. I've pissed. He's put in 3 hydrates. I've pissed twice in like substantial amount. I would only
in
go
an
pee.
hour. It's within an hour.
I would
Probably
only
less.
I only leave Minga to pee when I have to. I was just like my knee was shaking very like hard because I was like I gotta pee.
Just close your door and get a bottle.
For
And you
Minga,
wouldn't even. Yeah. Yeah, just get like a bottle and then don't say anything and like just sort of lower your mic.
well, my mic wouldn't be able to pick it up.
Oh, that's perfect then. Just get a bottle next time. Just get a water bottle, keep it next to you, and then you can dump it out in the toilet later and then recycle it.
Can I recycle that?
Yeah, I'm sure you can recycle the piss bottle. Why wouldn't you be able to?
Because it's like human.
They wash it. I'm sure they clean all the plastic they get. You always leave that little extra bit of Dr. Pepper in the bottom of the bottle.
Oh, not Dr. Piss.
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh.
That's not at all what I meant.
I thought you meant like pee into a half drinking Dr. Pepper.
No, I meant like when you finish a bottle of Dr. Pepper and there's always that little tiny bit at the bottom stuck in the crevice and the ridges. You always leave that like a little bit in there and that gets washed out and then the plastic gets reused.
Oh, I did not know what you meant by that.
Yeah, I can tell. Anyways,
Moving on to Wildcard Weekend.
6 games. There's 6 games. Oh fuck, I gotta get the prediction thing up.
All right.
Yikes.
Yeah. You got it.
Sure.
Very cool. Our first game. As he loads it up,
Oh fuck. Okay,
is
we're good.
Las Vegas on Saturday, 4:30. Las Vegas in Cincinnati. Both 10-7 teams. Now this is playoffs, baby. You know, this is different football. Teams play different in playoffs.
They do play different in playoffs.
Because, you know, this is a win and continue and a lose and go home situation. So
Nacho,
yeah.
the first game in playoffs is
This is Derek Carr's first playoff game, I think, too.
this is his first playoff game because the last time the Raiders got to the playoffs when they had like a very good season, he got hurt, so they started. I don't even fucking remember who they started, but they started someone. So Raiders Cincinnati on Saturday at 4:30. Who you got? Who you got?
I got the Bengals
You got the Bengals.
in this game. I think the Bengals are gonna pull through. Bengals offense has been electric, and I think the Bengals defense is just a little bit better than the Raiders defense.
I think the Bengals secondary is better than the Raiders secondary, but I like the Raiders front four better. I think it's a very
I can
even
agree with
matchup.
I can agree with you on that one. Yeah. But I think the Bengals offense is just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're gonna win.
I see 4 very even matchups, and then 2 absolute blowouts are about to happen this week.
Yeah. 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, 2 blowouts and 4 close games, I think, in my opinion.
I agree. I'm gonna take the Bengals here. If you're listening or watching, Luke, you know your Bengals gonna win a playoff game.
Yeah, I think my sister's a Bengals fan, but I don't know.
Why?
She likes Joe Burrow.
Just because of Joe Burrow?
I don't know, I guess. She's like, I like Joe Burrow. I'm like, all right, pop off.
I think this is gonna be a close game. Both teams are gonna fight tooth and nail. I think The Bengals are going to win. Oh, Luke's in here. Hey,
The Bengals
Bengals
are
are
good. The
good.
Bengals are good.
Luke, if you
I
want to,
agree.
Luke, I'll say your prediction live if you want to put your prediction in chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know how football works because I know you're not a sports guy.
Say your own prediction first, though,
Yeah.
Nacho.
I'm gonna take the Bengals.
The
as,
Bengals.
as Luke puts it by by 10.
By 10? You said it was going to be close.
Yeah, well, I in my head it's gonna be like Bengals are up by a touchdown and then it's unanswered and then to like keep the game uh field goal.
Yeah. I think that the Bengals are good.
I agree.
I think they're a good team. I think they got a bright future ahead of them.
Oh no.
But the Raiders, they've had such a wild season that I think they just win this. I think they continue the insanity of that was 2021 for them, and they continue it, and then they win by like 3. I'm gonna say I have faith in Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr right now is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow.
I agree with you.
The only like difference is uh Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase, who's like dumb good. But Derek Carr I think has a better O line. I think he has more never mind. Never mind on that point. I think he has good enough weapons. I think the defense of the Raiders is going to get to Joe Burrow more than the defense is going to get to Derek Carr. And so I'm going to pick Raiders by 3. All right, moving on to the Saturday night game.
Yeah.
New England at Buffalo.
This is my game. I could be very upset or I could be very happy. Obviously, as non-biasedly as, I want the Patriots to win. And they're gonna win, baby. Let's go.
Is this real?
Yeah. I was trying to being serious though. I do want to give my non-biased opinion, even though I am a Patriots fan. I do like the Patriots in a rematch against the Bills. I think we weren't able to just find a rhythm and utilize everything that we can. I don't think that the Bills have seen everything we can throw at them, and it's going to be a hard fight. This is going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
It's going to be someone scores, the other team scores, then the other team has to score, and then the other team has to score. I think that our defense, if our defense can, find a rhythm and stick up, our offense will do fine. I think, we have a good rhythm of pass it to Kendrick Bourne or Jacoby Myers to get us into the red zone and then have Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson run it in. And our red zone defense is very good. On the other side of the field, though, Buffalo, they have Josh Allen, who has been a running threat to us. His arm talent is insane. He has stacked receivers. Their defense has been playing great. I think New England wins by 3.
By 3? I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say Buffalo wins.
That's a fair assessment.
Buffalo is as inconsistent as they are. They have overall been the better team. They finished out on a 4-game win streak this year, so they do have momentum. The Patriots do not have momentum. The just overall weapons wise, Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and then Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie have really stepped up into their roles as receivers. Dawson Knox is obviously a big threat. Emmanuel Sanders, totally didn't even mention him, I don't think. The Bills' O-line is good. Their defense has been pretty dominant throughout most of the season. I I think that the Bills are just the better team, and I think in a game that's on the line, like your season is on the line, win or go home. I think Josh Allen's gonna realize that, and he's gonna step up, and he's gonna beat you guys by 10.
Ooh.
I think it's gonna be a good game though.
It'll be a
But
great game to watch.
yeah, that's just a late start time though. God, I feel old saying that 8 o'clock's a late start time. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I don't like how it starts at. I understand why it does. I just don't like that.
Yeah,
Because then it's like, because then you gotta stay up to like maybe past midnight.
yeah. Like last night, the college football playoff game ended at like midnight, and I was like up for work in the morning. I'm like, ugh. Uh, anyways,
Yeah.
so we did say um there were gonna be a couple blowout games, and those are both happening on Sunday. One of them is Philly at Tampa Bay. Nacho, I gotta ask, who you got?
Man, I'm sure Tom Brady is not happy to see the Eagles again. I'm sure Tom Brady just loves the Eagles as an organization. They did nothing wrong to him. I think
Just like you. You love the Eagles, don't you?
I love the Eagles. Favorite team, go Pennsylvania.
Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory.
I hope Champa Bay puts their Champa schlong in your mouth, and the I don't I don't know where I was going with
What?
that.
Huh?
Tampa by I want to say 17, but I also want to say 14.
Well, which one is it?
16.
16? Alright, I was gonna originally say 17,
Now you
and then I was
can.
like thinking, and I was thinking, and I'm like, Tom Brady
Yeah.
against the Eagles.
Yep.
Who would I rather have?
Yep.
I texted my friend before this, who's an Eagles fan, and I was like, "How far you see the Eagles getting?" He's like, "We lose to the Bucks, but it's gonna be close." Because the Bucks are kind of beat up and the Eagles are hot. That was his reasoning. So I want to honor that, and I'm gonna say Bucks by 6.
Okay.
I called it a blowout, and then I marked it as not a blowout, and out of respect for my friend.
The Eagles'
Uh,
offense is pretty good, so
yeah, the Eagles' offense has kind of been cooking because they're running, like their rushing offense has been very good.
the only thing is they have to outscore their defense because their defense kind of sucks. Or it's not.
Yeah,
Their defense is eh.
their defense is okay. It's got Darius Slay and Fletcher Cox. Alex Singleton has been pretty good at the linebacker. Rodney McLeod as a safety is not bad. Josh Sweat and Javon Hargrave are decent up front, but I don't think they're like top tier defense. I don't think this stops Tom Brady from putting like 40 on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But next game, sticking with the NFC East, Dallas is gonna host San Fran. Dallas is the 3 seed, right? Yeah, Dallas
Yes.
is the 3 seed hosting San Fran, who's the 6 seed. Who you got in this one? I think this one's gonna be weird.
I'm uh a lot of Dallas's wins are against bad teams, and I think they're a horseshit organization who's going to fumble in the playoffs against San Fran because the Niners win, baby. Uh,
Yeah?
they're gonna win by Niners usually play it kind of close, so I'm just gonna say by 9.
By how many? By 9? Niners by 9?
Not yet. Niners by 9, baby.
Yeah. So I was also gonna pick San Fran. I'm also gonna pick San Fran to win this. When you look at Dallas's wins,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
like they beat the Eagles twice. Which they're a playoff team technically, but they're not like good. They beat the Chargers by 3. They beat the Patriots by a last second score. They barely beat the Vikings. And then those are all their wins against
beat
decent
by the
opponents.
Broncos. They got smacked by the Broncos.
They got smacked by the Broncos. They got utterly fucked by the Chiefs.
They beat the Falcons.
The Raiders
like
game,
crazy.
the Raiders game, I think we can null because of the refs.
Yeah.
They lost to the Cardinals and they lost to the Bucks. They swept the NFC East, which is not a very hard feat right now.
It's not.
Washington sucks. The Giants are absolute dog shit. And Philly keels over at any opponent with a winning record.
This boys' schedule is actually really easy. Your only threats
That's what
are
I'm
the
saying.
Cardinals, the Chiefs, and the Patriots. But
Yeah,
but at that time we
Bucks
didn't
and
know
Raiders.
the Bucks. But they
They played
didn't
Bucks
know
and
that the
Chargers.
Patriots were good. We thought the Patriots might be dog shit by then.
Yeah, that was when the Patriots were still meh.
That
They were
is
still okay.
We're 2-3 here. That was our 2-4 loss.
Yeah.
That turned us around.
Yeah, that was your last loss before you guys got good. Barely beating the Vikings, but you guys were running. Dallas was running backups, so or a backup quarterback. That's it. They were only running Cooper Rush. You beat the Falcons. Woohoo! You beat the Saints, who had a weird year. That was the Saints without Jameis. Then you beat Washington, the Giants, and Washington in back-to-back-to-back games. They didn't. They had a stretch where they beat Chargers, Eagles, Panthers, Giants, Patriots, Vikings.
Let's see. I'm gonna say
That's not great.
they beat the Panthers when they were hot, but so they beat the Giants. So we got one.
Did you see the Panthers' first 3 opponents?
Who the Panthers play in the first 3
The Panthers were 3-0. They were 3-0 to start the season.
games?
Their wins were against the Jets, the Saints, and the Texans.
I forgot about that.
I wouldn't say that they were hot, yeah, but
Sam
and then
Darnold was.
They immediately lost 4 straight to the Cowboys, Eagles, Vikings, and Giants.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to Carolina that much. I just remember they started out. Everybody was hyping up the Panthers.
No, I was not.
But-
I was like, this is not gonna last.
Okay,
Let's pick,
so
good opponents.
let's see.
I was hype on the Broncos for a bit. And
They
then-
beat Panthers, Giants, Patriots, Falcons, Saints, Washington, Giants, Washington, and I have 8 fingers up. That's 8 bullshit easy wins.
Yeah.
And you are a 12-5 team, so subtract that, and
So
you are without your easy wins, we'll give you 1. So we'll subtract 7.
You're 5-5.
You're 5-5 against talent.
Yeah.
The
'Cause
boys
no.
are going to be frauds, and they're going to get smacked by a red-hot San Fran team who wants to win so desperately bad.
Dallas's losses are they're against good teams. They're against the Cardinals, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, Bucks. Those are good teams. The only team that missed the playoffs was the Broncos.
Yeah.
But still their secondary against an air raid offense was pretty good. But I don't see Dallas winning this game.
I don't either.
I'm gonna go San Fran by 6. I think it's gonna be close, but I think San Fran's gonna pull away because they want it.
They want a lot more. Yeah.
Well, Dallas wants it, but I don't know. Seeing San Fran fight back against the Rams just to get in here last week, that was kind of big. So I'm gonna go with San Fran. Uh, and back to the blowouts. Um, Pittsburgh and Big Ben. Big Ben's gonna have a retirement party in Kansas City.
How much does he lose by to the Chiefs?
Oh, it's gonna be a lot, right? It's gotta be a lot, right?
I'm gonna say the Chiefs win by 20. I'm being nice.
Be nice.
Because I think Pittsburgh has a little bit of roll with them. Their defense is a little happy, and Big Ben hasn't been doing the worst as of late.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 20.
I like Pittsburgh's defense.
Yeah.
I don't like Pittsburgh's offense against Kansas City's defense right now. Kansas City, we were shitting on them for their defense blowing ass in the first 8 weeks of the season.
To be fair, they did.
And then they got Melvin Ingram, and that put Chris Jones back in his natural spot of interior D lineman. And holy shit, they're so good. I don't think Pittsburgh's gonna be able to do anything on offense. I really don't. I really don't think they're gonna be able to do anything.
It's gonna have to be like a really good play call that just slips it, like Najee slips through the line and some linebackers.
Yeah, and so now at this point, it's a matter of how many points is Kansas City gonna score against Pittsburgh, and I think I'm gonna say Kansas City's gonna win by 17. I think Pittsburgh's defense is good enough to hold them off for at least a little bit, but I wouldn't. If I were a Pittsburgh fan, I would.
By the fourth quarter, the Pittsburgh defense is gonna be huffing and puffing.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of the Chiefs' points are gonna be scored. Is in that fourth quarter when, you're gonna have to rest T.J. Watt for a play, and you're gonna have to rest Joe Hayden, and yeah, 9-7-1, and in the playoffs for the AFC. Who would have thought?
No one.
No one. I thought the Chargers would have gotten in, but
even Steelers fans are like, "How the fuck are we here?"
yeah, I was really hoping that the Chargers would tie and be in this position. I was really hoping, because that would have been awesome.
This would have been a good game.
Yeah, because it would have just been a divisional game.
And now the Chiefs get a first round bye.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, good for the Chiefs on winning, because if they didn't, Cincy would have had this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or no, Buffalo would have had this game.
The Bills would have had this game. Oh,
Buffalo, no, Kansas City still would have had it. No, wait, never mind.
Wouldn't Cincy have it if they won?
If who won?
If Cincy won, they're against Cleveland and the Chiefs lost. Wouldn't they be the two?
Chiefs lost, then yeah. No, if the Bills had, or if the Chiefs had lost against Denver, then Buffalo would be hosting this game. Because Buffalo has the head-to-head against Kansas City. They have the head-to-head win.
In any case,
the Monday game. Arizona at the Rams. Another divisional matchup.
Probably I was going to say maybe the best game of this week, but then I don't know if San Fran might be pretty good.
I don't think so. I was thinking that same one. Also, drinking game. Watch the pregame for the San Fran Dallas game and talk about how many times they bring up the 90s. Drink every time they bring up the 90s and how these two were dominant in the NFC. Or it's 90s or 80s. It was both probably.
But yeah, Arizona
Arizona. The
against
Arizona Cardinals.
against the Rams. Um, man,
I'm thinking, who do I want? Who am I picking?
let me go back in time a little bit.
What are you going back to?
I want to see both their matchups with each other.
They went 1-1. I think there was like a 13-point differential between them.
First game, Cardinals won at Rams 37-20. Second game, Rams won at Cardinals 30-23.
Yeah, so there's a 10-point differential between them.
I think this is where the Cardinals' fun fizzles out and the Rams win. I was gonna say that anyways, but I think the Rams have found themselves a little bit better, and the Cardinals have just been like weird. They lost against the Seahawks. They barely won against the Boys. They got beat by the Colts. They lost to the Lions. They lost to the Rams. They have not. Oh, they have won a game. They won the Boys game, but they've been on a pretty downward trend.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals peaked too early. I think both of these teams peaked too early.
I disagree.
But
I think the Rams with Von Miller and OBJ have finally just started. I mean, a couple games ago, but have just started to kick in a little bit more. And with OBJ being an actual piece they can use, and Von Miller actually finding his spot in the system.
Mm-hmm.
I think going back to our preseason talks, how the Rams are going to be dominant. They went through good, bad, good cycle, and they're back to being good for the playoffs. And I think the Rams are going to be the team to beat in the playoffs. In the NFC.
Well, you say this cycle.
Yeah.
And they did go through win-loss. They won 3, lost 1, won 4, lost 3, won 5, lost 1. I think the pattern could continue.
Oh,
because
were you gonna
no, they're gonna lose.
The Rams?
Yeah, I think the Rams are gonna lose.
I think the
As
Rams.
much as I want Matthew Stafford to get a playoff win, it's not gonna happen. I don't think.
Rams win by 8.
By 8. What a weird score. Arizona, I think going into this, do they get D-Hop back?
I don't.
I think they get him back if they get it to the conference championship. That's when they're gonna get him back. The Cardinals were the last undefeated team, beating some good opponents. You know, they beat the Titans, they beat the Rams, the Browns when they were half decent. Like their only losses were kind of like one-offs at first. Like Panthers, okay, they had a bad game. They rebounded against Seahawks and Bears. Lost to the Packers, who are just a good team. Lost to the Rams again. But the Lions and the Seahawks losses are the only kind of like standout wins to me, or standout losses to me. All the other ones are kind of like understandable. But I think that Kyler Murray is good enough, and now he is healthy, like fully healthy, with a healthy James Conner. AJ Green's kind of been raking the past few weeks. Christian Kirk's been raking. Zach Ertz, I think that has been one of the best additions to this team during the season.
They really needed Zach Ertz.
Their O-line is good. Like, I think it's just parts of their defense need a little bit more conditioning, but like that's it. Everyone else, like, if they click, they click. And I think the Rams I think these are two of the most inconsistent teams this season.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna take the Cardinals by 7. I think the Cards can win it.
All right. That concludes our
Well.
predictions and
Oh,
previews
okay.
and what?
I was gonna say we should talk about the 1 seeds for a little bit, for
Okay.
at least a few minutes.
Alrighty.
Green Bay getting the 1 seed. That was already locked up before they lost to the Lions. How far do you think they can go? What do you what do you think their limit is
Who?
this year? The Green Bay, the Packers.
Um, I mean, I don't know if I said this last week, but hot take, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think they have the power, they have the strength. They are. I just said that the Rams are going to be a team to beat. Um, Whoever has to play the Packers next is they have a game in store for them because I think that the Packers are definitely the team to beat in the NFC. Out of all, I just think that they're the strongest team. They've been the most consistent. They have, you know, a likely and they have an MVP candidate quarterback.
The
Um,
likely
the
MVP.
likely MVP, two-time MVP. I think that Aaron Rodgers would really like to go back to the Super Bowl. Um, and I think that he doesn't have a lot in his way. The only thing that he really has in his way would be Arizona or the Rams.
Yeah, which never mind. I was gonna say he's most likely gonna have to face in the second round, but then I realized that San Fran could beat Dallas and Tampa Bay could lose to Philly because Tom Brady doesn't like Philly. But I think Green Bay is. I think I'll say I think they're the Super Bowl favorites. I think they win the Super Bowl.
I agree.
This team is so solid. The only thing that has worried me in the past couple of weeks has been their special teams. Like their special teams against the Bears and against the um who was it? Who'd they play recently? Uh the Ravens. Their special teams against the Bears and the Ravens were total dog shit. And I haven't paid enough attention to that specific area the past couple of weeks, so I
Mm-hmm.
just hope it's gotten better. But there's not a lot that this team can't do, especially with what little they have. They have Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams.
What
And
more do
that's
you
about
want?
it. That's about it. That's all you need, really.
Yeah, and
Bakhtiari just returned from injury too, so they're finally gonna have their All-Pro left tackle. Um, Lazard has really stepped up, and you know,
yeah, he really has.
and has made himself a starter, a really solid wide receiver too.
Uh,
Um, AJ Dillon has been doing great out of the backfield
yeah.
as well. Great partner to Aaron Jones. You got Aaron Jones with the speed and elusiveness, and AJ Dillon with the power. That's a perfect 1-2 punch. Um, their defense, their secondary, I think, is elite. I'll say it. Not a lot of people will. Eric Stokes, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage, and Rasul Douglas. That's elite with Jair Alexander out. So if he comes back by playoff time, that's good. My only concern for them would maybe be linebackers, but then inside linebackers, because Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith are good on the outside, but Devondre Campbell and Chris Barnes are not top choices, I would say. And then on the front line, you got Kenny Clark, so that's good. But I think this team wins the Super Bowl. I don't see a lot standing in their way.
They've beat who's gotten in their way. They've beaten the Niners if the Niners ever come across them. They've beaten the Cardinals this season. They've beaten the Rams this season. The Cardinals was a closer game. They beat the Rams.
Yeah.
There really isn't a lot standing in their way. I think they're prepared enough for whoever they have to face. Let me look at the playoff picture real quick.
Yeah, they would play.
They would play.
One of the late seeds. They cannot play Tampa Bay or Dallas next round. Is it? So they can play San Fran if they win. Arizona if they win and no one else wins. It's convoluted, but yeah, that's what I don't like.
Wouldn't they play the winner of Tampa and Philly?
No. If Philly wins, then they play Philly because Philly's the lowest remaining seed. That's just that's how it works.
Right.
It's lowest remaining seed or highest seed, whatever.
So they'll likely play San Fran.
They'll
play San Fran if they win.
And the Eagles lose.
Yeah.
Then they'll play San Fran. If the Eagles win, they play them. If the Niners win and the Eagles lose, they'll play the Niners. If the Niners and Eagles lose and the Cardinals win, they'll play the Cardinals. And if all three of those teams lose, they play the Rams.
I don't see anyone really.
Yeah.
Because that last scenario is unlikely. The most likely scenario, in my opinion, would be that they play San Fran, which they played earlier in a close game this season. But we'll judge that when it comes to it. We'll talk about it when it comes to that.
We'll talk about it next week. I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. Green Bay is the team to beat in the NFC.
Yeah. This will be a good weekend of watching.
Yeah. And now let's move to the Titans. The Titans have
in the AFC.
Yeah. The AFC divisional not divisional. They're the AFC #1 seed.
So they would play, in my predicted scenario, the Patriots. Because I said the Bengals would win and the Chiefs would win.
They would play Vegas in my scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Which that would be a game.
The AFC is weird because teams have been playing up and down this season. New England has had its up and downs, so we could either play dog shit, or we could be elite and unstoppable.
You look at the records for the AFC and the NFC. The AFC is like, or the NFC is like, all right, you got Green Bay at 13-4, Tampa at 13-4, Dallas at 12-5, and then it's just like a shit show at the bot. It's like 10-7, 9-8. You got the Rams and the Cardinals constantly just duking it out. It's like you knew who was gonna make it, but like they're not. The bottom teams aren't great. AFC's wild.
All the top teams are close.
Everyone could have been 12-5.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs, like it was wild.
Bills 11-6, only one win off. Patriots 10-7, only 2 wins off.
Patriots, Cincinnati, and Vegas all only 1 win off of 11-6. Like, and then there's Pittsburgh. Little brothers.
We don't really need to talk about Pittsburgh.
I don't acknowledge Pittsburgh.
I mean, he's just gonna get bullied.
That's true. But I think the Titans also have a good shot at making it. But I don't know. I think Kansas City's the team to beat right now in the AFC. They are too hot.
I agree with you, actually. People, it is pretty easy to say that with Derrick Henry back and Ryan Tannehill playing the way he is, and the rest of the Titans playing the way they are, that the Titans are going to be an unstoppable team, but they have had their faults where if the Titans fall out of a rhythm, they scramble to get themselves back together, and it takes them sometimes too long. And if the Titans don't find something quick, the Chiefs are going to going to capitalize on that, or whoever they're facing are going to capitalize on their faults.
Yeah, and the Titans really had a stretch where they went 1-4 or 1-3. I mean, in like the later weeks, but totally ignoring that, there's only 2 other losses for them. And during that stretch during that losing stretch, they were without AJ Brown and Julio Jones, and they had no one. I think with Derrick Henry coming back, this is a very good team that could easily make it to the conference championship.
Yeah,
Easily make it there, and I would not be surprised if I saw them make a Super Bowl appearance.
me either. I think they could definitely do it.
I think Tannehill is a solid starter. Even with Derrick Henry coming back, having weapons like Donta Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard on the bench or backing up Henry is still going to be very good. I think they're still very good. Receivers, AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Nick Westbrook, I don't know how to say the last part of his name, and Chester Rogers and Nick Westbrook have really stepped up in recent weeks. But you have AJ Brown and Julio, who are both elite. Jeff Swaim, I thought, has come up as a good tight end, and I think Michael Pruitt is out for the season, I believe. But he was another good tight end. The line is pretty solid, and then their defense is actually good. Kevin Byard should be probably an all-pro safety. Janoris Jenkins is still kicking as a cornerback. Bud Dupree, Zach Cunningham, great linebackers.
But I've seen in probably every. I'm not talking about the Steelers. Sorry, Steelers fans, but not really. Every team that's in the AFC playoffs, if their offense finds a rhythm, they score a lot.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
that's dangerous for like every team. So you just gotta. This is a good round of playoffs. I mean, it sucks that 2 teams. I'm gonna keep joking on the Steelers. Get a first round bye for the AFC. Let's be honest. KC and Pittsburgh. It's not gonna be a good game. It's just gonna be boring. We know.
I don't know why they put it at the primetime game.
It's not gonna be a fun game to watch. Like,
No,
it
not.
really isn't. I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're just gonna see the Chiefs just keep scoring and scoring, which is cool, but you know,
Yeah,
it gets boring after a while.
yeah. I think that the Chiefs are gonna have a good playoffs. They're gonna have a good postseason. I think. As much as I want to see a Green Bay Tennessee Super Bowl, just because of how weird that would be, I think it's gonna end up being Green Bay Kansas City. I think Kansas City right now is the much better team, and I think that they can make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Julio Jones really
Oh
hasn't.
fuck.
Julio
Oh
Jones
fuck.
really hasn't been Julio Jones on the Titans, which receivers don't last long in the NFL. And if they do, they're top elite. Julio Jones has been in the NFL for a while, so
And he's been top elite.
yeah. So he's not gonna be playing like his old self, which is that's understandable. But also he really hasn't been getting the ball a lot.
Well, and his intention when he went to Tennessee was to be the second wide receiver.
Yeah.
At this point he's got records. He's got like the Hall of Fame stats. He's got the Pro Bowls. He's got the All Pros. He just wants the ring. I think that's all that he wanted, and he full like full knowledge took the number 2 wide receiver spot at Tennessee to let AJ Brown step up there and take the number 1 spot. But Julio wants his ring, and I think there's a chance that it happens. I don't know. It just seems off though. Like I don't got a good feeling about it.
About what?
Tennessee having a ring.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they kind of got good out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah, like remember in the past, like before 3 seasons ago. So like, I don't know, leading into 2019, it always felt like the Titans were always like the dog shit team everyone just forgot about. Like if you vaguely followed football, you probably wouldn't know the Titans
Yeah.
were a team. Same with like the Jags. Cuz they're like not good and you're not in their area, so you don't know them. And Tennessee's a small market. So I don't know. It just seems weird. It just
It
seems
does seem
odd.
weird. I agree with you. It does seem weird. But this will be a good wild card weekend for the most part.
Yeah, besides one game.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pittsburgh.
Not really.
No, I'm not sorry at all.
But I think that takes us to the end of our program.
Yeah, I think so. Any hot takes?
Not really. I think we kind of went over.
Yeah, we
We,
covered
we
a
we
lot.
usually sprinkle them in here and there,
Yeah. All
but
right, I think that'll do it.
thank you all for watching in Twitch chat. If you're here, we appreciate you. I know Robert and Luke are in here. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the Minga Sports Podcast. Streamed Tuesdays or usually around 7 to 9 is the start time.
When have we ever started at 7?
Probably sometime. I don't know. I just throw it out there. Stream twitch.tv/Nacho Live. The O in Nacho is a 0. If you prefer to listen to your podcast in audio only formats, we have you covered. Just go check it out wherever you want on audio or podcast platforms. If you prefer to watch your podcast on YouTube, I do timestamp every game. We talk about the games and our takes and whatever little bits we have here and there. If you just want to scroll around, see what we got. But that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Anything else you got to say?
No.
Alrighty. Thank you. Word to your mother. Peace out, homies.